What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods. I'm according to Woods, and he is former U of MMA champion, Piacino Lobo, better known as Voodoo Maximus. And this Saturday night, we will have UFC 273, headlined by Alexander Volkanovski and Chang Sung Jung, better known as none other than the fucking Korean Zombie. This is a fight that we've been waiting to see. I mean, Korean Zombie had his 2-year, military service that he has to do as a South Korean, and even when he was right before that, people were like, "When is Korean Zombie going to get a title shot?" And it's taken literally 4 years since people first thought that, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we are. The last time we saw Korean Zombie in a title match, he was doing so well against Jose Aldo until he threw his arm out. His shoulder popped out. And Jose Aldo took advantage of the situation, and it was what it was. 4 years later, he's back. He's back in the title seat, and he has another opportunity. If he wins, he becomes the first Asian man to win a UFC world title.
And that's an amazing statistic, right? And this is one where it actually the female became the precursor, right? Because we have Zhang Weili as the first Asian person to win a UFC championship, and the first Asian female. So Korean Zombie basically will fill out the male part of the bracket. Should he throw a tough Alexander Volkanovski, but we're going to get to that. There's a whole lot of things, but we had a whole lot of everything. We took a little bit of a sabbatical last week. There was no UFCs. But there was a lot of blood sport. There was WrestleMania. There was Jesus Christ. There was a lot of stuff that were happening in the ring and our cage. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, I caught both days of WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday. The second day was not bad at all, man. I enjoyed the second day. I enjoyed that McAfee guy.
Pat McAfee,
and that, yeah. That guy was pretty good. And that brother, Jake Paul's brother.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, he was quite good. But my favorite part was Cody Rhodes. That Cody Rhodes entry was fire, man. It was fire. I was fire. I was all about it. Welcome back, Cody Rhodes.
Man, I got some mixed feelings about that. Do you want it? And Charles, the Professor Wilton up in Canada says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Professor? Hope you're doing well.
Wilton?
Hope the starting up wheelchair boxing, right, and the proliferation of that. That's what Charles, the Professor Wilton is doing up there in Canada and the world beyond. So let us know how that's going, what we can do to help.
No doubt.
Look at what Murder Ball did for wheelchair rugby for those couple of years, right? We're all about inclusion here. So if anybody wants to get it, they can get it, and let's get this sanctioned everywhere.
That's right.
And Shaman Steve says, "Good evening, gentlemen." And Vince is definitely from Hell Pichelle is on this card. So we're definitely we're going to get into all of that. But I have a mixed feelings about Cody Rhodes going to the WWE. I'm all like, all of the stuff that we had to, and he's a great dude. I've been around him a couple times. Just so personable, so salt of the earth. He's just there's warmth from that guy. He's warm. He's a warm, caring, compassionate guy. So I'm not, whatever. Yeah, the only thing that I have a problem with, right? In AEW, right? They started AEW. His wife wanted to wrestle. She's like, because she was a wrestler over in the WWE, but they didn't let her wrestle in anything beyond FCW and later NXT, whatever. And when she got released, she was all like, I'm Cody's wife. I'm Dustin Goldust's sister-in-law. I'm Dusty's, daughter-in-law. I can wrestle. And she goes over to Ring of Honor and shits the fucking bed, right? So, like, the roads to the top. Going over to AEW, right? Helping co-found AEW, right? If you're all about, like, I want to see, the next generation of people to get their fucking just due, right? That was the rallying cry. That's why AEW started and existed, right? And that's why Cody was placed as an executive vice president, right? And I don't know for sure. Obviously, I don't have an inside look to what the contract negotiations are, but apparently Cody wanted more money, and Tony was like, "Yeah." Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, whatever." I don't know if that actually happened or not. No, and both sides are staying pretty mum about it, so I don't know for sure. It's just rumor and innuendo. But the fact of the matter is, like, you said you wanted to start a revolution, right? You really drove it home that you wanted a revolution. You wanted to compete with Vince, right? And we saw your wife and her lack of wrestling. You had to suffer through that. The reality show, Road to the Top, on AEW's parent station of TBS. You were on the Go Big show with Snoop Dogg and the Country Lady and Rosario Dawson and whatever, and Bert Kreischer. And all of that just to go back, right? All of that just to go back to the evil empire. You literally smashed the Triple H's throne and came back the night before he lays his boots in the ring. I'm just saying, it's just weird to me.
Hey, man, I only got one term for you. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man, and it is what it is. Cody Rhodes, his course ran, whatever it is, ran its course at AEW. Things weren't going the way he saw, the way he planned. He's not the money man. Some other fella is the money man, and the money man speaks the loudest. So he figured, hey, if this money man is going to be doing things that I'm not comfortable with, I might as well go to the money man that's going to work with me and give me more money and work with me and see my vision through. Either way, man, he's an employee. He stays with the other guy at AEW or goes to Vince. He's still an employee in the end. Yeah, he was a CEO or whatever, quote unquote CEO, but the truth remains, he is an employee to someone else. So he chose what was best for him.
Yeah, he's gonna be another fucking employee. I'm sure on his contract he was gonna
with
be
more
like,
money.
No, yeah, with more money. But he was like, "Oh, Vince, you're gonna have me in the main event," and he's gonna. What Vince is gonna do is, "Ha ha, pal, you wanted the main event. You're headlining main event. The fucking WWE show that they fucking nobody watches. That's where Cody will be in like 3 weeks." But just saying. I don't know. And Charles, the Professor Wilton, said, "Thanks for the shout out. Much appreciated. A lot going on up here. Glad to know. I'm now a licensed adaptive boxing trainer and manager and have athletes training under him. That's tremendous. That's what we want to hear. Shout out to you for fighting the good fight. That's amazing. That's what we
evolution.
100%. Which is not Cody's next faction. We're not gonna. Cody's not going to go into evolution. Jesus Christ. And Roddy Maximus. Thank you, Michael McKee, over on Twitch. But my goodness, this UFC card is pretty damn stacked. Obviously, it's a pay-per-view, so they want your money. So they're going to fucking stack the card as high as they can get it. We talked about the featherweight championship, and we're going to definitely get more into that. But we're going to start off the night with the 17-5 Julia Arce, right? Going up against a 10-1 Brazilian in Daniel Santos. Now, in terms of Arce, I mean, this is one of the most tenured fighters on the UFC roster and one that hasn't already been in a championship eliminator or what have you. But when you look at his record, it's not easy to see why, but you can make an argument why, right? Because he's been in the UFC only since about 2018, right? So he makes his debut against Daniel Tamor, where he beats Tamor by rear naked choke in the third round. That was in 2018, June 2018. But then loses to Shimon Moraes, right? Then beats Julian Erosa, but then loses to Hakeem Dawodu, but beats Andre Ewell, and then loses to Yadong Song. So he's literally had as checkered a record as you can get. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Right? And then theoretically, if you're going into statistics for him, because he lost to Yadong, you would think that he would beat Santos. But Santos, on the other hand, Jesus Luis, 10-1 for the Brazilian Daniel Santos. Obviously, this fight is going to be in the bantamweight division, and Willie Cat, which I don't know where that nickname comes from, but I'm going to make my own assumptions of what a Willie Cat is. I mean, it's here's the church, here's the steeple. Where the fuck are the people? I mean, I don't know. Did I do that on air? Yes, I did. But this gent is a veteran of Thunder Fight, a lot of Brazilian promotions, ACA over in Russia, Future FC, and then Brave. So he's got a lot of international experience, and he will be making his UFC debut. And the he being Daniel Willie Cat Santos. So, what say you, Voodoo?
Hey, this one is going to be fireworks right out of the gate. I'm going to go with Daniel Santos. I like his style. I like the fact that he is fearless. He is fearless, and in his fearlessness, he is successful with all the spin and attack. I'm a big fan of turning back kicks. And he's got a couple of turning back kick stoppages in his career. When you're landing at least 2 to 3 turning back kicks in about 11 fights, that says a lot. He's got spinning elbow knockouts, anaconda chokes. He's got straight up knockouts, majority decisions. He's a go-getter, armbar. He's great on the ground. He's great on his feet. He's dynamic on his feet, not just great on his feet. He's dynamic on his feet. Julio Arce, same thing. He's a good fighter as well. Like you said, he's been in the UFC since 2018-ish. And, it's up and down for him. So, yes, he needs a win. The people that he's lost to are noticeable names. Your Dong Song, Dawodu. These are significant fighters. But I am going to go on a limb and say Daniel Santos. Flash knockout. That's what I see.
I like it. I'm going to go that way too because, unfortunately, the opponent of the night, Julio Arce, that's a lot of damage he's fucking taken, man.
Too much.
Yeah. So I'm going to do second round KO Daniel Santos for sure. Now, before we get into fight 2, Michael wants to know, and I think he deserves it. Adam, are you still running that illegal cockfighting? You don't talk about fucking Fight Club, yo. What the hell? But if you want to get into such things like that, I know a place where you can probably place your bets, is what I'm saying. Just saying. Yeah, so there you go. But the next one is pretty damn interesting, right? This is theoretically a battle of Southern California because we have the 7-5 Kay Hansen, Invicta veteran. She trains out of Orange County at Ten Planet Jiu-Jitsu Buena Park. And she has grown up in and around Fullerton, right? But she goes up against former LFA strawweight champion Lafayette Mariana Rodriguez, who's a perfect 7-0. Jesus, man. This is wild because they're, ever since she came in from Invicta, right? And her Invicta career wasn't, there's 4 fights in Invicta, right? And a boxing fight in between. but I mean, she wasn't Invicta long. But I, when I think about Kay Hansen and ring introductions, I think of none other than Joe Martinez, the Cage side announcer, but also TJ DeSantis, the commentator for Invicta, going Kay Hansen, like before her fights. And that to me is just embedded in my brain, right? In Invicta, she faced Helen Peralta, who is now on the UFC or the current season of the UFC's Ultimate Fighter. Uh, yeah, the Ultimate Fighter. That's what it's called. Why did I fucking blank on it? But Helen also has a wealth of experience over in BKFC. So that win is that's showing me something. Win over Gabby Romero, armbar victory over Emily King, but and even a triangle armbar win against Junior Frey, and I believe that might have been an Invicta title. No, I'm sorry, that happened in the UFC. So, but a former Invicta world champion she beats via triangle armbar. But the last two outings haven't been too great for Kay Hansen because Corey McKenna beat her by unanimous decision. Also, Jasmine just the vicious. Say that 3 times fast. Also beat her. But on the other side is Piera Rodriguez. Obviously, championship level athlete, has already won herself an LFA world title, right? And how does she do that? Oh, yeah, she beat Svetlana Gotzik, right? And this went all 5 rounds, right? Uh, Before that, she was fighting in a lot of um, Latin American promotions, right? But then after her LFA win, she basically goes in against Valesa Machado, right, on Dana White's Contender Series, gets a unanimous decision win, and this is actually her official UFC debut. Um, I'm going with La Fiera.
Yeah, yeah. It's really hard to go against perfection, you know? They're similar height, 5'3" for Fiera, 5'2" for Hansen. So, maybe a minor reach advantage for Rodriguez. Um, um, Rodriguez is not one of those grappler type. She's gonna bring the hands. She's gonna bring the heat. She wants to knock your head off. Kay Hansen is more well rounded. Um, she will take it to the ground. She has to. She will shoot them doubles. Now the question is, will Fiera be able to withstand the double leg and the single leg assault of Kay Hansen? That will she be able? Will she have enough wrestling to defend against the takedown so she can keep the fight where she's great? We will find out on Saturday. But like we always say, it's very tough to pick against perfection. So I also will go Rodriguez.
Now, here's the fun part. If you follow La Fiera on social media, you know that she's kind of associated with the Black House group, right? So, Dr. Jason Park is kind of at the helm. We've got, she's getting in time, and his teammates of a former LFA champion in her own right, Tabitha Ricci, Baby Shark, right? Um, when she was here, Little Monster. Like there was a picture. I remember it was like the future of the strawweight division, right? It was La Fiera, uh, Little Monster, Tabitha Ricci, and I can't remember. I can't remember who the last one is, but definitely those 3, right? And you could see where the LFA championship went. It went from each of them, and I don't think
Through
I think
them.
I think Tabitha didn't actually win the championship, but she gets called up after having a good
Mhm.
showing. I want to say a match of the night um, recipient in LFA, and that she gets called up soon after. But yeah, it's wild. Yeah, La Fiera. It's perfection, and it sucks for Kay
Yeah.
Hansen because she came in with a lot of steam, comes from a good good team. And this is one where the UFC matchmakers are fucking vicious in terms of what they want out of their athletes. So yeah, man.
That's why we love the UFC, man. The UFC are gonna put those matches that we want to see together right now. Not like boxing. Not 10 years from now. Right now. It is what it is. Let's go.
Let's go. And how come UFC doesn't have lingerie pillow fight matches? That was like in UFC, or not UFC, WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2007, where there's lingerie pillow fight. I don't think we got it here, but there is a pillow fight championship, right? And there is a lingerie fighting championship as well. So if you want to get your rocks off, there are.
Hey, Michael McKay, understand things like this. Vince McMahon already has a patent on it. The UFC can't use it. You know Vince McMahon, man. He's a master of money making, master promoter, the best promoter you ever seen in your life. You understand? He already has a patent on it. That's why no one else is doing it.
That's good shit, pal. Bruce, book it. Just saying. Shelton, where's Shelton? He just sees a random black guy walking around and thinks it's Shelton Benjamin. I don't know. Yeah, but you know who isn't Shelton Benjamin? Anthony Hernandez, 8-2, 185 pounder, right? This one is going to be a wild one because they were 185, and he's going up against a 9-2 Josh Fremd. Now we go with Hernandez first. Fluffy Anthony Hernandez is somebody that made an impression on us pretty early on his UFC tenure.
Yep.
Because first off, pre-UFC, he beats via unanimous decision Brandon All-In Allen. We know what a badass fucking Brandon Allen is. We're a fan of his, So that's crazy. Goes to a no contest with the Beverly Hills Ninja Jordan Wright on the Dana White's Contender Series, right? But then makes his formal UFC debut against Marcus Perez at UFC on ESPN +2. And he loses via Anaconda choke. But then, check this out. In his next fight with Junyon Park, who we're also a fan of, he beat Junyon Park by the very same move that he was thwarted earlier in the year by Marcus Perez, right? But then, obviously, tasting defeat, that happened with Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, wild motherfucker, that guy. Just, that was that knee to the body in the ground and pound, right? Very first round. So he was the ass end of a lot of viral clips because of that loss to Kevin Holland, right? But then, not to be deterred, beats Rodolfo Vieira with an arm in guillotine on the undercard of the Kamaru Usman Gilbert Burns, UFC 258. So he's coming off of a win, one fight win streak, going into this fight with Josh Fremd. Now, Josh Fremd, 9-2, right? This is a guy who is making his UFC debut, but he's doing it literally on a 2-fight winning streak, right? LFA, he actually headlines the LFA 116, right? Against Renato Vellante, right? Beats him via unanimous decision. Also, headlining another LFA because him and Gregor Rodriguez headline UFC 108. And unfortunately, Josh Fremd befell of a KO by Gregory Rodriguez, right? But he has the unanimous decision of Renato Vellante and then a rear naked choke win over Joel Baum. These two are very similar match, but 2-fight winning streak versus a 1-fight winning streak. I feel like I'm going for Josh Fremd, unanimous decision.
Okay, this here is going to be our first split 50-50 coin flip. I remember the last time we saw this Hernandez fella, and he defeated the undefeated Rodolfo Vieira, super grappler. I remember everyone was talking about, man, what a grappler this dude is. He subbed everyone and he's done all of this and that. But Rodolfo was finished in the second round by Hernandez, and uh, Hernandez commanded my respect after that match. So um, I know the level of experience he's got, and he's been in the UFC for some time now. I think home court advantage is going to play a key role in here. Josh is also very formidable, but this is his first fight in the UFC. Not only is it his first fight, he's on a major card. I believe the pressure is going to be on him to perform. He's going to feel he has to win. He has to show out so he can become part of the top 30. But I think Hernandez is going to be waiting for that. He's going to wait. He's going to be waiting for that. And he's going to set those traps, which Josh is going to fall in, and he's going to lose by split decision. So I'm going to go Hernandez split decision victory.
I like it. And that's the thing. It's so close. You just don't know how it's gonna happen. And I'll be rejoicing if you win. I'm sure you do the same for me.
It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50.
100%.
Both men deserve to win. It's just so unfortunate that one of them have to win.
100%. Now, speaking of winning or losing, Michael McKee says, "Is that football league still go? Probably the Lingerie Football League. Yes, it's still going, but also the XFL. It's not going technically, but it's under the ownership of one Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So there's that.
It's under construction.
It is
or reconstruction.
Reconstruction. That doesn't happen in LA to people's bodies at all. No, not at all. And Charles says the next super fight, me versus Jake Paul.
Take my money.
You say joking. I think he'll take it, and that might be the best.
My money.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Let's do it. Let's fucking make it happen. Book it in Vince's voice. Book it, Brucey. Even though it's not pro wrestling at all. But speaking of a lot of wrestling, we got a heavyweight fight. Jared Vanderaa going up against old man Alexei Oleinik. And that's not his fucking name, but that's the way we refer to him here. But let's go with Nosferatu. Hell yes. That's what you Don't get me started. I'm trying to be good. I didn't call anybody a Modelo Bukkake or anything yet. But yes, he does look like a bit of Nosferatu. But let's go with the mountain, Jared Vanderaa. 12-7, coming off of a actually 2 straight losses. Now, prior to the losses, we're going to get into that, but he had a unanimous decision over Justin Tafa, right? But then rolled into Alexander Romanov, and he gets fucking KO'd by Romanov, right? And then he loses a split decision to Andrei Arlovsky. Can't be mad at that. That's one of the most... that's a
good fight.
UFC heavyweight champion. He is one of the most tenured, heavyweights that there is of all time. One of the most storied heavyweights of all time. So no disrespect there. But you want to talk about storied heavyweights? Gosh damn. You got to talk about old man, a bow constrictor, Alexei Oleinik, right? 59-16-1. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion that this might be the last of Alexei Oleinik. And here's why. 59-16-1. So where do you think he wants to get to? So he can yeah, exactly. So assuming that he gets the boat constrictor gets past the mountain, we might have a 60-0 Oleinik.
Retirement.
Yeah, man. Which I'm not mad at. What more does Alexei Olenek have to prove? Does he want to become the UFC champion? I don't know. And especially, I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing streak in his own right. But the 3 fights was a KO by Derek Lewis back in 2020, then another KO by Chris Dawkins in 2021, and then unit decision lost to Sergey Spivak, and Spivak looked so fucking good. I picked Olenek to win, and theoretically, Alexei might have rode into the sunset if he beats Sergey on that night. Sergey fucking didn't get the memo, and he, basically outclassed Olenek. I think this is a nice fucking way. This is not nice for Jared Vanderaa for sure, but this could be a good way for Olenek to call it a career. I'm going with Olenek, but I am keenly aware that the mountain Jared Vanderaa could fucking knock Olenek right on his face and whatever. But I'm going.
Yes, he could. I'm still going with Olenek as well. There's something that Olenek has an issue with, and that's quick hands. Jared Vanderaa does not have quick hands, even though he's got great power in his hands and he will knock your block off. But Olenek can handle the speed that Jared is bringing to the table. He can handle it. He'll be able to close in for the clinch, and he'll be able to put him on the fence and do what he needs to do to get him to the ground. Once he gets him to the ground, it's nighty-night. I see Olenek tapping, submitting, or going to sleep in the second round.
I'm not mad at that at all. Oh, yes. And we're going to have a nice little ceremony in Florida for Olenek where he takes off his gloves and places them down. And what a fucking career it would be for Olenek. It has been for Olenek. That motherfucker's been fighting since a lot of people were born, my goodness. So shout out to Alexei Olenek, man.
Yeah, man, that dude's like my age.
Yeah. Well, you're 27, right?
Yeah.
I like it. But there's a lot of noise, right? Especially I hope should Olenek retire, there be a vociferous reception on what this man has given, right? But talk about vociferous insertions, right? Ooh, that didn't sound right at all. But a man who interjected himself into a particular scenario, and that scenario was CM Punk coming to the UFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey was the one who was like, please, Dana, I want CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he gets. And along with it, he gets a UFC tenure that is lasting still to this day. So Mickey Gall, 7-4, lifelong martial artist, him and his sister, right? But he's had an up and down run in the UFC, right? Because he makes his debut at Dead Series 17. That's a hell of a name for a fucking fight card. But that is that
Dead Series.
Dead Series. It's fucking dead serious. Not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times, not even 15 times. 17 times they're goddamn dead serious. You might as well be just fucking dead. But it was at Dead Series 17 where Dana White and the crew for the looking for a fight came in and he made that fucking speech. That post, he's like, I want CM Punk, right? It was after the win against Ron Templeton and his second fight ever pro. Now he has, a pretty decent 3 wins on the amateur circuit, right? In the, in CFFC, WCC, and Dead Series 15, right? But his second fight in the UFC, he beats Mike Jackson, right? And then again, calls out for the CM Punk, fight CM Punk, beat CM Punk. Battle of the fucking, the heralded ones, right? Sage Northcutt, and he beats Sage Northcutt via rear naked choke. But then he loses to Randy Brown, beats George Sullivan, then loses to Diego Sanchez, What the fuck? Who loses to Diego Sanchez in 2019? Apparently, Mickey Gall, right? And then
Diego Sanchez is he's a madman. When it comes to that cardio, man, it's hard to deal with that. And the ferocity he brings. The young man was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed. That's what happened. But in this particular matchup, man, we have Mickey Gall versus one of Tim Alpha Male's prodigy. What's the young man's name? Mallet,
yeah,
Mike Propa, Malott,
Malo.
Malott, Malo. Okay.
That's what I'm going
he,
with.
okay, I think I like the sound of that actually. Malo. Mr.
Yeah,
Malot, Canadian, he is working with the Team Alpha Male characters. He's 6'1". Mickey Gall is about 6'2". So we got a tale of two long fellas. What's Mike gonna bring that Mickey hasn't seen already? You know, this is the question that needs to be answered. Mickey has already been in there against powerful hitters, excellent grapplers. You know, it's gonna be a grappling match. It's gonna be a standing. It's gonna be a mixed martial arts contest. That's what it's gonna be. A complete mixed martial arts contest. Do not expect anything exciting in this matchup. I don't see exciting, but I do see a complete fight. Wherever the fight needs to be is where it's going to take place. And I'm going to give Mickey Gall the edge in this particular one, just because he's been in there against some killers. So Mickey Gall, possibly by submission in the third round or some kind of split decision victory.
I agree, 100%. I'm going with Mickey Gall. And it's funny because to Charles Wilton's, decree in wanting to fight Jake Paul, and Michael says, I think Jake Paul is out for a while. Miz heard him, 100%.
Yeah.
Kayfabe as fuck. Like, keep kayfabe. Now we have, this one I'm looking forward to because we have Rocky Pennington, 13-8, going up against Aspen Ladd, who's 9-2. Let's start with Aspen first. Aspen is 27 years old. Basically, the first time I saw her, much like Kay Hansen before her, saw her in Invicta, right? Where she beat Amanda Bobby Cooper, or now Amanda Bobby. She's something else. She's married to somebody, and now it's a different thing. But anywho, beats Amanda Bobby Cooper by armbar submission. Beats Sijara Eubanks via unanimous decision. This both being in Invicta. But then her UFC debut comes against Lena Landsberg, where she beats Lena by ground and pound KO, TK. Then beats former Invicta world champion Tanya Evinger on the undercard of the Habib Conor McGregor card. Fucking wild card, right? And then runs it back with Sijara Eubanks in the UFC, where she beats her the exact same way she beat her before. Unanimous decision win, right? Then loses to Jermaine Durandamine because shit, it's Jermaine Durandamine. Good lord, it's a fucking Iron Lady, right? Get KO'd in 16 seconds of the very first round in that, but then rebounds and beats Yana Kunskaya. Jesus, whose baby mama is she?
The Maleta, or something like that. Maheta.
Yeah, Jesus.
Santos.
Santos. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So
Maheta.
Man, them rough ass accent, the Portuguese and the wherever Yana Kunskaya is from, man. That baby's gonna be speak in a whole lot of something or other. Jesus Christ.
The pedigree there, man. The pedigree there is gonna be quite impressive.
Talk shit to that.
The litter is gonna be impressive.
100%. Talk shit to that kid. Rather run around in traffic. It's not good. But Aspen Ladd, her last time that we saw her in the octagon was a unanimous decision loss to Norma Dumont. Right now, on the other side, one of the most tenured fighters, not just female fighters, but fighters today, 13-8 Raquel Pennington, and Rocky has looked better than she has ever looked. Right? She's on a 3-fight winning streak. Those wins being unanimous decision over Mariana Rodriguez, Paniki Anzad, unanimous decision as well, and Thor's former. And this is wild because Raquel Pennington, in her own right, was on an incarnation and a season of the Ultimate Fighter. Well, she beats an Ultimate Fighter winner in Meisi Chiasan. That's fun. That's just fun to think about. Jesus, nothing against Aspen Ladd, but I've been a fan of Rocky and their significant other, Tisha Torres. Fuck, since I saw them in the Ultimate Fighter, like they were, to me, they just exude badass. Almost much like Shayna Baszler. Like you saw fucking Shayna Baszler, and you're like, this one has been through some shit, and she fucking battles right through, man. Like, I'm a fan. There's no way, like nothing against Aspen Ladd, but I'm picking fucking Raquel Pennington, especially the fact that Rocky hasn't looked better in her career ever than right now.
I'm also picking Rocky Pennington, man, because let's come to facts are facts, man. She's only lost to the very, very best in the world. I mean, she's lost to former champions, Holly Holmes twice, Jermaine Durandamine, former champion, Holly Holmes, former champion, Amanda Nunes, former champion, Holly Holmes, former champion, Jessica Andrade, I believe that was another former champion, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Andrade, yeah. So come on, man. She's only losing to champions, right? Aspen Ladd is not on that level yet. Aspen Ladd is gonna get those hands. She's gonna get beat down, and if it's not a unanimous decision victory, it's gonna be a stoppage in the third round. No late.
Nope, you can't disagree with you anymore. So we're gonna get into some big beefy boys because we have Jairzinho Rozenstruik going against Marcin Tybura. Holy shit! All right, so obviously Tybura, the more tenured fighter, is Tybura, a former world champion in different organizations, but he's only 36, but has amassed a impressive 22-7 record. Right? He was on a 5-fight winning streak against Sergey Spivak, Maxim Gershon, Greg Hardy, and Walt Harris. And almost the last two, Walt Harris and Greg Hardy, he fucking TKOs them. And then with Big Ben Rothwell, you took him to a unanimous decision and it went your way. Fuck, man. That's something. Same thing with Sergey Spivak. Same thing with Maxim Gershon. All tough fucking guys. All tough guys, man. So there's that. But after the Walt Harris win, he loses to none other than Alexander Volkov, former Bellator world champion, right?
Yes.
Now he's getting in there with Jairzinho. Remember how scary fucking Jairzinho Rozenstruik is?
Yes.
Biggie boy, not to mess with.
Yeah, heavy hands. Be careful when you're in the ring with this fella. Which is why Tybura is going to activate that wrestling game, hit that double leg takedown to that single leg if necessary, drop him on the ground and pound all day long. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to see an exchange because if there's an exchange, Jairzinho is going to knock his block off. And he's not stupid. He knows this. He is going to be very careful. He is going to utilize that wrestling, steal rounds if he has to, but eventually he's going to get a submission by ground and pound in the third round. Rozenstruik is a tough dude.
I got it the other way. I think fucking Rozenstruik, you know how he did
fucking
Alistair Overeem's fucking lip? That's how Tybura's face is getting fucking out. And Tybura is a tough motherfucker. He could have his face split off by fucking Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and that motherfucker will keep on going. And that's where Rozenstruik just has to fucking uppercut Ramel and get him a little bit closer to his maker than he's comfortable with. So I'm going with
Jairzinho. No doubt. Hey, both of these fellas are worth being picked. So It's a beautiful coin flip there, man. 50-50, no problem. I mean, as you can see, their ranking is 9 and 10, so not a huge gap between these two gentlemen. They're both major contenders in the heavyweight division, and the one that wins will be maybe 2-3 fights from a title shot.
Yeah, 100%. It's great to fucking fantasy book that for sure. So, I mean, we talked about undefeated fighters. We got another one here. The Irishman,
Mm-hmm.
Gary, who's a perfect 8-0,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
pretty aptly named. The Future is trading out of Sanford MMA, Henry Hoofs, and what have you, but a long-term veteran of Cage Warriors. I mean, fought all of his pre-UFC professional fights in Cage Warriors, starting back at Cage Warriors 101 and finishing up with them at Cage Warriors 125, right? But and he comes into the UFC and he fucking KOs Jordan Williams in the first round
Yeah.
on the undercard of the UFC 268 Usman Colby Covington 2 a fight that just happened at the end of the year last year, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, we've got Darian Weeks. Darian Weeks, 5-1, still a pretty impressive record for Darian, right? Um, but he's coming off of a loss to Brian Barberena via unanimous decision. He took a boxing fight and he lost against Tony Woods, right? And then prior to that Tony Woods boxing fight, he faces Craig Fairley on the undercard
Mm-hmm.
of LFA 99, where he KOs Fairley in the very first round. So, two big, beefy boys getting into fisticuff. But what? How, how do you think it's going to happen? This is in the 170 division. Do you think
Yeah.
Ian can KO Weeks, or is Weeks going to figure out a way to give Ian a case of the Mondays?
Yeah, when we look at this matchup here, it's custom made for Ian Gary to be successful. He's going in there against a striker, and Ian Gary is a complete fighter. His ground game is quite impressive. His striking quite impressive. He's a complete fighter inside out, coming from Cage Warriors, representing Ireland, 8-0 undefeated. This is a money making machine. We will not throw anything at him right now that's going to cause him to lose and tarnish his image or his record. So therefore, we're throwing a formidable opponent in Darian Weeks, who's had so many amateur fights. I don't know why he fought so many times for free, but Darian Weeks is the man, and I believe Darian Weeks will be stopped in the second round by submission.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree one iota. That's a pretty good call. I like it. It's so much so that I'm going exactly with you. No rebuttal at all. Yeah. Now, speaking of somebody who is all in, we have Vince from Hell Michelle going up against none other than the perfect 11-0 Mark Matson. Now, let's look at Mark Matson, the Olympian, because he's literally a fucking Olympian, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of Denmark, freestyle wrestler, gold medalist, I believe it was, right? And he's training out
I
of
believe
fight.
so.
Yeah, and he's training out of fight ready with Henry, and the rest of the whack pack. They kind of
Oh.
whack. Eric Alsaban, he's cringy, and Henry Cejudo. But they're great fucking fighters. That's one thing that I can't take away from them. So that's a good move to get in with another Olympian and apply your trip. Now, Mark Matson made his UFC debut against Danilo Belluardo at UFC on ESPN Plus 18 back in 2019, right? And then he beats Austin Hubbard in 2020 via unanimous decision, all right? And then has a split decision win against the always tough, always durable Carpenter Clay Guida, right? Now, somebody that you're quite familiar with, Vince from Michelle, 14-2, and my goodness, he's 14-2, 16 fights, but I feel like he's been there way longer. Vince Michelle obviously had a bit of a sabbatical away from the octagon, right? I think that lasted 3
Yes,
years.
he was injured.
Right.
But he had an injury.
He's an Ultimate Fighter alumnus, after taking the time out after the Damian Brown fight. I'm sorry. Actually, it was Anthony Njokuani, right? From in 2014, right? And then we get to Damian Brown. That was like literally 3 years and 1 month, almost to the day, right? He beats Njokuani, and that was 2014, May 24th, 2014, and then almost 3 years later, 6/10, 2017, beats Damian Brown, right? But then makes his, makes another run in the UFC, beats Joaquin Silva, advancing to 4-0 at that juncture of his career, loses to Gregor Gillespie, but then comes back and beats Roosevelt Roberts via unanimous decision. He beats Jim fucking Miller, who, Jesus Christ, when you fight, even in, it doesn't matter what fucking time period in the UFC, when Jim Miller's there, you cannot count him out, right? But he beats Jim Miller, right? And then beats Austin Hubbard in his last fight. I really like the fucking Olympian, but I mean, Vince Michelle, he's shared mats with you and a lot of people in this very chat. So I'm going with from hell, Vince Michelle. Unanimous decision.
Yeah. So this Olympian fella, he's something special. He his wrestling is superb. That's going to be the key to victory for him. He's going to come in there and he's going to utilize every trick he knows in regards to wrestling against Vince. I'm sure they believe Vince's weakness will be the wrestling because of that Rustam Kabilov slam that knocked him out back in the day, back in 2012. I'm sure that they're going to look at that and try and simulate that action. Gregor Gillespie also utilized the same strategies, chain wrestling. So I see Mark Matson doing zero standing. This is going to be a Vince trying to get this guy off of him, trying to peel him off. He's going to be like an octopus's suction cups in their extremities. That this is what Mark Matson is going to be like, and Vince has to shed this guy off of him the entire time. This is what he's going to spend the entire time doing. When he is able, he will get some shots in, but I do not see an entertaining matchup. If someone gets knocked out, it's because Vince landed something so vicious and it knocked out Mr. Matson. But it's going to be an ugly match, and I'm also going with Vince Patel because he will be the only one attempting to strike, and all he will have to do is keep from getting submitted. Keep from getting dominated by the chain wrestling, and he will be fine. The other fella is not a good boxer. He's not a good striker, but his wrestling is significant. He just needs to get you to the ground, and then he's pounding away, ground and pound. So Vince Patel over here as well by split decision.
1,000%. Michael says that the Olympian should just use brass knucks. There you go. Not
I like
around.
that.
There you go. A little bit of William Regal, right? Yeah, 100%. William Regal style. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm a
hard style. That's that hard style right there.
Yeah. Fuck yes. I like it. Let's do it. Now, mention, two of the, one of the most badass couples in the UFC, but also all of MMA is none other than Tisha Torres and Raquel Pennington. Well, they're fighting on the same card, right? Matt on the Ultimate Fighter, right? and they're still together till this day and pushing each other to success. Obviously, Tisha Torres in the 115-pound division and Raquel Pennington in the bantamweight division, 135, right? So I dig it. I dig it. So Tisha Torres, 13-5, right, is going up against the 11-2 Mackenzie Dern, right? So let's go with Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington was on a damn she was on a skid, 4-fight skid.
Tisha Torres?
Yeah. She was on a 4-fight skid. Now, mind you, there's an asterisk to it because I was against Jessica Andrade, who became a UFC champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, champion, Zhang Weili, champion, right? And then Mariana Rodriguez, still a tough customer, right? But they give her another
Future
shot.
champion.
Right, absolutely. But they give her another shot, and she finds a way, that veteran savvy that she has, to beat Brianna Fortino via unanimous decision. Then she stopped Sam Hughes because Sam Hughes got that nasty ass eye cut, where she couldn't return. That happened at the end of the first round in that fight, and she couldn't return, right? And then beats Angela Overkill Hill, which you got to remember, Angela Overkill Hill was on this upward trajectory, right? She had just come off of, doing the UFC panels with Karen Bryant. She was on Joe Rogan. We found out that her grandfather's Barney Hill, the one Barney Hill and his wife were the first people who in America that saw UFOs. That's Angela Hill's granddad. So there's a lot of stuff on Angela Hill, and that's a really big win for Tisha Torres. Now, on the other side, what can we say about Mackenzie Dern that hasn't already been said? Obviously, the daughter of Megaton Diaz, a jiu-jitsu legend, right?
Yeah.
She, in her own right, has become a jiu-jitsu ace, on her own, just on her own, right? Now, I will say that she was riding a unanimous, like an undefeated streak, right? In that undefeated run, there was Kenya Rosas, there was Montana De La Rosa, right? 2 UFC veterans now, right? But she does it back in the days of the Legacy Fighting Championship before it becomes LFA, right? Then in LFA 6, she beats Catherine Roy. Rune Kachek at LFA 24 against Mandy Polk, and then goes to Invicta for a cup of tea and beats Kaylin Mierros, right, via armbar, right, her only appearance in Invicta. Then she comes and beats Ashley Spider Monkey Yoda, right, on the undercard of the Yana Chris Cyborg fight. Then beats Amanda Bobby Cooper, right, then loses to Amanda Hibas via unanimous decision, right? But rebounds and beats Hannah Cyphers via knee bar, because that's what they do. Fucking world-rounded fucking jiu-jitsu practitioners. You're gonna slice you up in them fucking knee bars, man. Then beats Randa Marquez via armbar, right? And that goes to unanimous decision over Verna Jandiroba. I'm a fan of Jandiroba and her fucking
Me too.
eye. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then beats the wife of the arguably baddest fucking woman on the planet, one of the baddest women in the planet, Amanda Nunes, but she beats Nina Nunes, Amanda Nunes'
Beat
wife,
that ass
via armbar, right? But then her last time in the octagon, she loses to none other than Mariana Rodriguez. Oh yeah, that same Mariana Rodriguez.
Yep, that's the one.
That Tisha Torres had some trouble with.
That's right. That's right. The future champion.
That's fucking wild, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is as fucking not rudimentary, not remedial, because it's not that. But when you think about what MMA is, especially the UFC, striker versus grappling, and seeing what the fuck works, this is a classic case, because Tisha Torres has a gas tank a fucking mile long, right? And has striking prowess that she's continuing to improve, much like her significant other, Raquel Pennington, right? But who can fucking mess with the damn jiu-jitsu of Mackenzie Dern? I don't know too many, right? This one I don't know. I mean, my heart is sore. I'm a fan of both. So I fucking don't know. I want to hear your take on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will see what we have been talking about all along in this particular matchup. Jiu-jitsu versus wrestling. This is what you're gonna get. It's gonna be jiu-jitsu versus wrestling. Period. There will be striking. However, Mackenzie Dern is gonna realize that there's levels to this because Tisha Torres, the Tiny Tornado, is called that name for a certain reason. Lots of movement, combination striking in and out. She is a phantom. She's there and then she's not there. It's going to be very difficult for Mackenzie Dern. Once she sees that Tisha Torres is disappearing too much, she's going to start initiating those, attempting to initiate those takedowns. And I don't think those takedowns are going to work because she is not a wrestler. She doesn't have those wrestlers' entries. So she might try to pull guard and do all this jujitsu stuff. But I don't think it's going to work. I think Tisha Torres has seen too many great fighters in her tenure to fall prey to a Mackenzie Dern. But yeah, mistakes do happen, things do happen, but I just don't see it happening. I see Tisha Torres winning this one by split decision.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and nothing against Dern at all. She's a fucking sweetheart. So, what have you?
And wait. Mackenzie Dern is not going to lose anything. Mackenzie Dern is very pretty. She's marketable. She's not losing.
No,
She
but
might lose a match, but
yeah,
she's not losing at all. She's
she's
gonna win.
she's just. I mean, when she was at a gym that she no longer trains at, I got to interview her, and she's so cool, fucking cool, man.
Hmm.
It pains me to pick against her, but again, I've been since I saw fucking Rocky, both Raquel Pennington and Tisha Torres. I was fans of them. Same thing with Shayna Baszler. Like it was that season, that Misha Tate versus Ronda Rousey season of Ultimate Fighter. I was like, I'm in. Anytime that these and anybody from that fucking season, anytime that they fucking fought, Chris Beal followed his career, because they did females and they did males as well on that season. I can't remember with the weight class, but like, you know, it made me fucking instant fan. So this is no
Hmm.
different. So yeah, the Tiny Tornado all the way. And I really hope that Atisha Torres and Raquel Pennington can string enough wins together to get a title shot, right? And essentially, we could have a couple, openly lesbian couple, as champions in the UFC, 115 and 135 pound champions respectively. That there would be nothing fucking cooler than that.
Mm.
And I've thought that ever since I heard that they were together. One day. So hopefully this will be a trajectory to get to what I want. No one else. I'm sure it will mean something to them as well. But for me, just personally, selfishly, I went Tisha Torres and Raquel Pennington to be champions. Fuck yes.
Yeah, yeah. Tisha Torres, man, she's something special. I remember when she was back, like maybe 9, 10, 11 years old. We had a Shotokan tournament in Vegas. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was a huge tournament. And I remember her beating everyone with the reverse punch way back then. She was a little girl.
What?
Back in the 90s. Yeah, I have the video, man. I just gotta locate it. I think it might be in my external drive, but once I find it, I'm gonna upload it and tag her on it. I'm sure she'll like to see something like that.
Oh, let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna retweet the
Mm.
shit out of that. That's awesome. That's amazing. So yeah, so fucking Tisha Torres. That's unanimous. Which
Yeah.
um HLA. We know what this means, right?
No, what does that mean?
The Bischoff, right? The the 3-minute warning, and there's you don't remember this okay.
Nah, it's
I don't
alright now.
okay, so basically there was going to be hot lesbian action. That's what that stands for. Right?
Oh,
And
right. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
the two lesbians were supposed to um they were supposed to get married, right? Two lesbian women, who
Mhm.
ended up being two SoCal indie wrestlers. I think Jenny Looney Lane and I can't remember which, the other one, but two. I want to say Crazy Kiara Dillon, and Jenny Looney Lane, who were UPW notables. You know, with Samoa Joe, John Cena, Christopher Daniels, and what have
Right.
you.
Right.
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 So
Right.
what ended up happening was Bischoff is actually I think he was, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but the way that I remember it, he was actually the pastor or whatever officiating the wedding, and then he calls for 3-minute warning, and Jamal and Rosie, Jamal being
And
Jamal,
Ivory.
yeah, no, it was
Ivory,
Jamal.
right?
No, it was Jamal. You're thinking about Right to Censor. 3-minute warning.
Oh, right. Right. Right.
Three
Right.
minute
Right. Right.
warning with
Right.
Jamal and Rosie. Rosie ends up being Roman Reigns' older brother, Matt, dearly departed brother. Unfortunately,
Right.
he was the one who ended up tagging with the Hurricane as the superhero in training
Right.
for
The big
Japan.
guy.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
and Jamal ended up getting repackaged after a run in Japan, and he becomes Umaga in William Regal's voice, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And yes, in terms of the hot lesbian action, actually WWE ripped it off of American Pie too. Facts, sir. Michael McKee knows what the fuck he's talking about. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah. Tiny Tornado, Tisha Torres all the way. Uh, that's what I want. I think that's what we all want. And why can't they have barbed wire on the gloves? I don't know. But
Yeah.
Lethway has those, wrapped up fucking,
Glass, right?
yeah. So if you want something close to barbed wire, Lethway. That's
Let's
that's
wait.
that's what you want.
And
But
throw headbutts.
100%. But speaking of headbutts that aren't going to be thrown, but it's going to feel like they're walking on broken glass. That's an Annie Lennox reference, motherfuckers. Yes, I threw that out there. Walking on broken glass.
Broken glass.
Exactly. Fuck yes. Voodoo knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Hell yes.
Walking on broken glass.
I'm just
I
saying.
love that song.
It's great. Oh, I'm gonna send you a cover of it too. It's a metal cover during COVID. It's amazing. I love it. But one thing that I do love is fucking Hamzat. Hamzat Chimayo, 10-0. Man, fucking Hamzat is back. And he's going up against Dorino, Gilbert Burns, former UFC title contender. Obviously, Burns is the tenured fighter, 20-4 for Burns. Had that fight against Kamaru Usman for the UFC title, ends up coming up short, but he beats Tyron Woodley, beats Damian Maia, KOs fucking his fellow Brazilian, Damian Maia, at UFC on ESPN Plus 28 back in 2020, right before COVID, right? That was the last shit before COVID, right? But this is even wild about fucking Burns. Obviously, Burns in his own right is a fucking ardent jiu-jitsu practitioner. But just in fucking quintet, Sakuraba's fucking promotion, right? Has wins over Yves Edwards. Yes, Thug Jiu-Jitsu Master, right? Yves Edwards. Kazushi Sakuraba himself and Jake Shields. Holy shit. But then he loses to Craig Jones via heel hook, right? Took a while to fucking nurse that, right? 4 months. And then comes back and KOs Maya. So Gilbert Burns has been in there both in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA with some of the all-time greats, right? But speaking of
Yep.
all-time greats, and Gilbert Burns' association with greats that he faces, I believe he's going up against who will be one of the all-time greats, Kamsa Chimayo, right? And Boras, Jesus Christ, man. Um, he came, he came into proliferation during the quarantine Fight Island fights, right? Makes
Mhm.
history, 2 fights in 2 weight classes, and wins both fights in less than 10 days from each other.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
incredible, right? Now he
Yep.
contemplated retirement after his bout with COVID. He had it really, really bad, right? But kind of testing out his wrestling, right? He beats none other than Joker Jack Manson at Bulldog Fight Night 9 back in November of 2021, right? Now, prior to that, he was, he was in good. He beat obviously John Phillips in his UFC debut, Reese McKee, and then the Reese McKee and the Jared Mishad fights. That was the one that was. I'm sorry, the John Phillips and the Reese McKee fights. So that was the one where he took it 2 weight classes in less than 10 days. So shout out to that accomplishment, right? But
Yeah.
obviously he got COVID really fucking bad. That Knicks,
Mhm.
what was supposed to be the fabulous fucking fight of him and Leon Edwards. So unfortunately, that doesn't happen. But this makes way for Gilbert Burns to come in and share the octagon with Chimaev. But here's the thing,
Mhm.
right? Because we've seen uh, Chimaev, right, and how dominant he can be. But
Mhm.
the effects of COVID almost reminds me of, and I don't know if he's fully recovered or not, but he had it pretty bad. That's why he contemplated retirement. But you remember when fucking Brock got diverticulitis, and we all noticed there was
Right.
something bad about him, right?
Right.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh man, he would still be fucking champion today if he didn't get that diverticulitis, right?" So
Mhm.
could COVID be um, could it be Chimaev's undoing? I don't know. But
Mhm.
if it isn't, fucking Gilbert Burns has to figure out something because the fucking wrestling that Chimaev has, the top control that he has, it's gonna be very very tough to overcome, especially if you're a tenured jiu-jitsu practitioner in Gilbert Burns.
Mm. This one is going to be um a life changing experience. It's going to be a life changing experience. We have Gilbert Burns, who has been accustomed to life in the UFC. He's comfortable. He is in third place, second or third place in the UFC. He's very comfortable. He's fought in the lightweight division. Now he's fighting in the welterweight division. I mean, he's even had an opportunity to fight against the champion himself in Usman, and he was viciously knocked out. He's had great success in both grappling and mixed martial arts. He's living a good life. He's living a good life. He's been in the UFC for some time now, and this is what it is. He's been in the UFC since what, 2014? Yeah, it's a long time, and he's beaten some of the best fighters in the world. Um, he's currently 35 years old. He's made some decent money. He's on a 1-fight winning streak, but it is what it is. He's going in there against the man, the myth, the legend, Kamsa Chimayo, undefeated Chechen, straight up Chechen soldier, straight up war torn bred individual. Crazy accident as a youth, faces disfigured. Breathing is not that great. You can hear when he speaks. It's nasally when he speaks. That this is from his accident. But yet, when he goes out there and he trains like none other. Every single person that's trained with this dude has given feedback such that he is incomparable to no one. Not even Khabib. Not even Khabib. There is something there. There's something there that's special. And it must be seen to fruition. I'm a big fan of this kid. I look forward to great things for him. And at the press conference, or last night, I should say, he and Gilbert ran into each other, and they got a chance to size each other out. Gilbert is a little thick, you know, he's thick, he's dense, but Chimayo is that long, wet blanket, and he's going to suffocate this jiu-jitsu artist. Once again, another example of what we've talked about, the wrestler versus the jiu-jitsu artist. Gilbert Burns has added a whole lot of wrestling to his game. But when he gets on his back, he's going to go to jiu-jitsu instead of seeking to get up like the wrestler. And this is going to be his undoing. This is where he's going to suffer defeat. He will get pounded and smashed into the ground. And then when he goes to cover up, Chimayo will sink in something, maybe an armbar, maybe a rear naked choke. Or maybe he might just smash him to smithereens right then and there. Either way, Chimayo wins in no later than the second round.
100%. Chimayo all the way. The good brother Shade Husky going, hello.
Husky.
What up, guys? On 2 different platforms. Shout out to Shade.
What up,
the good brother.
That's right.
Yeah, our compatriot over here on bodyslam.net, where this is being simulcast too. So shout out. And didn't Tyson Fury use weighted gloves last fight? Allegedly. I wasn't there.
Allegedly.
Yeah. No, but also fucking Tyson Fury hits like a fucking Mack truck. So there's that.
Yeah.
And none of them, Chimayo or Gilbert Burns, can touch Roman Reigns. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're right about that. You're right about that. None of them can touch Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns ain't gonna stick around to be touched. He's gonna be gone. Kind of like when Brock Lesnar was chasing him and he was running off.
Yep.
It's gonna be something like that.
1,000%. So that's it. So Roman Reigns float off into another galaxy, sir. Not Joe Anawahi, the father of the husband, but Roman Reigns, the character, is all bits of bullshit. But you know what isn't bullshit? The fact that we are at the co-main events of the evening. And actually, there's a little bit of bullshit here. I'm not going to lie, right? Because theoretically speaking, this is a title unification fight because we have arguably what should be the lineal UFC bantamweight champion, Petr Yan, who unfortunately lost to Aljamain Sterling, the current lineal champion, right, over some bullshit, right? The illegal knee that fucking Yan hit Sterling with, Sterling giving a fucking Oscar performance. I mean, one would even argue that it was just as good as the Chris Rock fucking Will Smith thing. Actually, it was a little bit better, right? I'm not saying it's staged, but I'm just saying. But Petr Yan, after Aljamain got hurt, he had some sort of surgery, some like tonsils or fucking nostrils or whatever. So Petr Yan actually ends up doing a interim title fight where he wins, right? As well.
Sandhagen.
Yeah, against Sandhagen, the unanimous decision. Fucking dusted Sandhagen in ways like people were saying, fucking
outclassed.
Yeah, Sandhagen is the truth, the light, the way, all that shit. And fucking Petr Yan said, "Oh, that's cool.
Fuck my cup."
Yeah, fuck all of that. You know, so he's going in against Aljamain Sterling, and Sterling, you know, ever since he won the title, he's been running scared of Petr Yan, and as well he should be. He's a scary motherfucker. Petr Yan looks like fucking Hasbullah grown up. It's fucking wild. Yeah.
This fight. Yeah, were you still talking?
No, go for it.
This fight right here is it's a continuation, right? In basketball, when the kids will play, they will say continuation. I remember back in the days, I used to hear kids say that continuation. Like, anyways, this is a continuation of the previous match, and in the previous match, Pietre Yan was in the process of dismantling this Aljamain Sterling fella, smashing him from post to pole. Aljamain came in hot in the beginning in an effort to render the Russian tired, but the Russian had excellent fundamental skills. He didn't get flustered. He blocked every assault that came his way. He never really got hit with anything solid, and he began his counterattack. I believe maybe in the third or fourth round. Um, Exhausted and beaten mentally, Aljamain Sterling was down on his hands and knees. And once his hands came off the ground, Pieter Yan delivered that deadly knee to his face, and that caused Pieter Yan to lose the title. But up until that point, Pieter was doing whatever he wanted, and he was being highly effective at it. Go watch that fight again if this is not fresh in your mind. Um, the continuation that I speak of will be Pieter Yan going right back in there. Aljamain's gonna bring that heat again. Pieter Yan is gonna weather the storm, but this time there will be no mistakes. This time, Aljamain, he done so much talking promoting this fight. He's got the mic skills that makes you hate him. But remember, when we're talking about mic skills, this is about evoking emotion from the fans, from the ones that are gonna pay. You're either gonna pay to see him win or pay to see him lose. Either way, you're gonna pay. He is about to get beat down severely. He's talking all this smack, talking about he's gonna finish Pieter Yan in one. Your jiu-jitsu ain't gonna work, my friend. This is a Russian. He's got that wrestling. That Russian wrestling defeats your grappling that you're bringing to the table. Russian wrestling defeats American wrestling. It's not something that I'm saying. I mean, look at the history books. Look at the competition right now in martial arts all over the world, mixed martial arts all over the world. Look at the competition. Look what happens when the Russians come in. They annihilate the field and reset the table. That's what they do until they're ready to retire, like Khabib did. He came in, reset the table, and then he retired. So now we're where we are. But either way, Pieter Yan wins this one. I hope he gets a stoppage because this needs to be decisive. He needs to beat him decisively. And I believe Pieter Yan can stop him. I'm going with Pieter Yan to win this one in the fourth round.
No, I'm sure it'll probably get to fourth round, but I don't want it to happen. I mean, Aljamain Sterling has become my new Tyron Woodley.
Okay,
I just fucking.
I understand.
I'm good on the motherfucker. So I'm just saying.
He took the cringe route.
Yeah.
He took the cringe route with bad props and bad. I don't know where he gets his ideas from, but he's using it, and
fucking
it's
Chris
upsetting.
Weidman, that's the stupid ass.
Yeah, he's doing it, and it's quite upsetting. It's not entertaining. It's upsetting. But the idea is to evoke emotion, and he's doing that. In America, they say negative attention, positive attention, negative attention, publicity, negative publicity, positive publicity. It's all publicity. This is the route that he's taken, and he's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, as Eric Bischoff said, the controversy creates gas, right? Actually, no. I want fucking Aljamain Sterling to fucking. I want fucking Peter Yan to knock Aljamain Sterling out so fast that he knocks his dumbass fucking flat top right off his motherfucking head. Takes that fucking chain that he wears, that Funkmaster shit, and then shoves it right in his Funkmaster. This fucking whatever. So hard that it fucking comes out his, goes in his ass and then out his fucking mouth. Aljamain is, ugh. Aljamain is. I used to like Aljamain, and I think that's why I'm having so much trouble with this current incarnation of Aljo. Yeah, man, I'm all right. I'm good. That's a fucking Peter Yan. Peter Yan.
Let's go, man. Let's wrap it up.
Let's do it. And Roman is your tribal chief. No, that ain't my fucking tribe, bro.
Hey, Roman needs to acknowledge me, because I'll whoop his ass. That's real talk.
There it is. But speaking of more ass whoopings, we are at the main events of the evening. None other than Korean Zombie Chang Sung-jun, 17-6, going up against Alexander Volkanovsky. And Volkanovsky is the great. And you know what? I can't disagree with him. I didn't like him. I thought he was, I thought he was bland. Him on Joe Rogan, it was like watching paint fucking dry. And, all the embeddeds with him and his coach, like Joe Lopez or whatever the fuck. And they almost remind me of whack-ass fucking Chris Weidman. And, like, I love Matt Serra, but Chris Weidman and Matt Serra, when they get together, it's like the fucking dumbest, stupid-ass jokes that nobody gets, but it pops in two of them. And that's what Alexander and Joe, I want to say Joe Soto, but whoever his head coach is or whatever. It's just cringeworthy. Yeah. It's a waste of fucking space and time or whatever. But it took none other than Ryan T. City Ortega to get in his fucking head, right? To, talk shit about his family, that we saw a different fucking Volkanovski, where I thought, Max Holloway beat fucking Volk both times, right?
Me too.
So I was fucking doubting Volk. But after Ortega and how pieced up Ortega was after it, there was nothing that Ortega could do. There's 5 fucking rounds of complete and utter dominance. And I was like, oh, Volk. I'll never fucking pick against Volk again, right? But I've also been a fucking Korean Zombie fan. And Jang Sung-jun, coming off of a win over Dan 50K Ige, but losing to Brian Ortega, beat Frankie Edgar, beat Renato Moicano, lost to Yair Rodriguez. Dennis the Menace Bermudez, he fucking KOs in the very first round at UFC Fight Night 104, loses to Aldo, beats Poirier, beats Mark Hominick. That's how long he's been there. Fucking beat Leonard Garcia, lost to George Root, also to Leonard Garcia. He's just fucking been around, right? But that makes no difference because we've got the champ, Alexander Volkanovski. And I think Volkanovski just has too much going for him to let Korean Zombie sniff the leather than the gold that is in the UFC championship. I got Volk.
Hey, this has been a long journey, like you said, for the Zombie. Alexander is red hot right now. He's red hot. He's a former rugby player. He used to be upwards of 220 pounds. Now he's trimmed down to 145-pound division, featherweight. Unbelievable. Work ethics. He's got work ethics. Whatever you want to call it, that requires him, doing what he has to do. He's ready. He's ready and he's able. But Chen Sung-jun also has been a long member of the UFC. He also is well balanced, excellent striker. You wanna go to war, he'll go to war with you. This is why they call him Korean Zombie. He'll go to war. He's ready for war. You want to grapple? He's ready to grapple. He's ready for wherever this match takes place. So I see Volkanovski employing a complete mixed martial arts game. There won't be any one thing that supersedes another. I believe he's going to bring a perfect balance to this matchup and try and win by points if he can get the knockout. I love the Zombie so much that I'm going to go ahead and pick the Zombie, even though I know Volkanovski has the better chance of securing the victory based on his youth. And he's already champion, man. You know, it is what it is. So I will go Chang Sung, but I'm very, very okay with your pick of Volkanovski, though. I'm very okay with it.
I like it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the hell out of your pick. Yeah, man. I just think it's going to be wild the way that it's going to go. But speaking of wild, real tribal chief is Adam Woods. Thank you, Shane. Recognize. And wait, hang on. Roman beat Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Roman beat Brock Lesnar for a fucking title that he already has. How the fuck can you be a title holder and the fucking belt looks the damn same, right? But you're a world champion, but you're a world champion of a TV show with the belts that look the fucking same. I fucking don't understand it. And how's he says chief? And how many kg is that? I don't know. I really don't know.
Me too.
I should know the metric conversions. But speaking of conversions, man, hopefully we converge you all to hit up UFC 270. What is it? 278 in it?
73?
73.
73.
Yeah. I want to take 5 more fucking events, man. It's going to be amazing, amazing time. But not going to lie, we're going to probably be checking out this fight on Sunday morning because Little Birdie told me Minoru fucking Suzuki is fighting for GCW in Hollywood on April 9th. That might be a thing we might need to go to. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, and Roman is champion of the universe. Yeah, the TV show and a streaming service. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, and it's not the world. 100%. I don't know.
Champion of the Milky Way.
I the way that Roman Reigns fans are behaving, I definitely think it's a universe, but it also might be Roman Reigns being the champion of Uranus. But there we go. But Voodoo, where can they find you on social media?
Oh man, look for me on YouTube, Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Voodoo Maximus all day long.
And I'm According to Woods. You can find me at According to Woods on a lot of the socials, right? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter is where you can find the Principal Podcast. Sharing dumbass memes on both Facebook and Instagram. So you might want to give me a follow there, and I might make you shit yourself, allegedly, supposedly. So we will see you Sunday for the recap of this very card with more Voodoo in the Woods. But until then, you guys be fucking safe. You guys are badasses, in the words of Scott Steiner, badasses. And we will see you later on Sunday with more Voodoo in the Woods. Later.